yeah, Rich was truly something else, man. Like, he was special, man.
My man was like a star, man, for real, without the Hollywood.
I got the soul of a hustler, the twin brother, Rich Porter, separated at birth.
Kid was original, man.
Setting trends, and they wasn't none but 16 years old.
I was shorty uptown with Rich Porter. I was shorty up on 132.
Because Rich, his essence was Harlem. His style was Harlem.
Harlem was in tears when Rich Porter died.
There'll never be another Rich Porter, man, bottom line, man.
Darnell was on his way to school.
Okay, YouTube, we tapped in, man. This is a little, I guess, a documentary by Rich Porter, you feel me? And I ain't here to get no opinions, none of that. We just here reacting to the video, and they never seen it.
According to the young man that was walking with him that day, somebody called him to a car. Darnell looked at his friend, he said, "I'll see you later." And Darnell was never seen after that day.
Apple, Rich Porter's uncle, was the one who brought that to my father about kidnapping the little boy. I don't understand why he did that, because that's his blood.
The game is so deep.
I think that part right there supposed to be coming from like the preacher. Man, everybody in New York know what I'm saying, you feel me? The preacher, you feel me, though, who was down there, him and his son. You feel me? What? Rich uncle went to them guys and set that kidnapping up, though.
That it goes into people's families, that people's families are hurting one another just to get what they can get. For what? For money? For money that you could have got from him? But you jeopardize somebody else's life for this? And you a family member? It's that ugly.
He had a real bad bone for Rich in his body or something. I don't know why.
On December 5th, 1989, Ms. Porter began to make phone calls to her daughter, Pat Porter, on the whereabouts of her youngest son, Darnell, because he didn't return home from school at his usual time. That evening, she received a phone call. And on the other end was a voice stating, "We have kidnapped Darnell." Ms. Porter called her oldest son, Richard, and her daughter, Pat Porter, and they arrived immediately at their mother's home at 132nd Street, the west side of Harlem. The next call, a ransom of $500,000 and a message of "Do not call the police" was demanded. 24-year-old Rich Porter, who loved his younger brother Darnell, knew he could grab $250,000 cash within minutes. He offered it, but the kidnappers rejected it.
Rich, I believe Rich said he could get them $250,000. My father was willing to take that, right? But Apple...
See, I told you, the preacher, you see it, he just popped up. That was the preacher's son who just popped up on here, though, for sure. Hey, ain't trying to cause no too much commotion. The biggest rat in New York.
And Malik himself was like, "Nah, we can still get more. We can still get more from him." So my pops was like, "All right," he settled for that. Like, "All right, we're gonna give it some time."
Word had now spread throughout Harlem that Rich Porter's little brother, Darnell, had been kidnapped. Friends of the family, as well as other young hustlers throughout Harlem, pulled up to Rich's block to show support and to find out what was going on. One hustler that pulled up was AZ.
I remember sitting in the car with Rich and A, when fucking A is asking him about the kidnappers, did they call? And what did they say? And when he said,
that boy A was that guy too, you feel me? That's what they be saying. A was that guy up in New York. Found that plug at that canal.
yo, he didn't have the money. People, they tell stories, but they have the stories almost right, but it ain't exactly right. You gotta be there in order to talk about certain shit. Like, it wasn't that Rich didn't have the money. It wasn't that Rich couldn't get the money. He just didn't have it at that time. The man said he had the money laying around. He had it laying around. He didn't have to go to nobody for no money. Not AZ. He had more money than all of them put together. The bank was in the car with Rich. This nigga A was willing to just give up whatever for somebody else's brother, man.
W.A. Man, that was a real friend, bro. Real friend.
It wasn't that Rich didn't have the money. Rich told the kidnappers what he could grab instantly. For a 24-year-old, Rich Porter wasn't the average young hustler. In elementary school, he stole his teacher's ink stamp that said, "much better," and used it to stamp his heroin bags, now calling his product Much Better. 12 years later, Rich was now being supplied by the consignment king, Richard Fritz Simmons.
Rich was one of his heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
that.
His young boy was moving.
Yeah.
He died at 24.
They liked Rich.
They liked Rich a lot.
They liked the Rich.
Rich get with Fritz. Fritz giving them boxes.
Fritz was such a great help because you couldn't buy that. You couldn't even get that. You couldn't get your hands on that.
Rich Porter had a spot on 132nd Street that was doing major numbers. He also was supplying weight to other hustlers throughout Harlem and the 5 boroughs. Those who knew Rich knew the money was there, which was why Apple, Rich Porter's uncle, told Preacher to reject the offer. But where was the money? At around the time Darnell was kidnapped, Rich Porter gave Alpo $200,000 cash to go pick up some keys from a connect that Alpo wanted to do business with.
It was a drought. Nobody had no coke. I'm out the game. Then Rich and him balling hard. And I think Rich gave him like about $200 or $300 to go buy from someone that he said he knew had it. Some Spanish guys or whatever. And they posted left him in the living room and they went out the window with the money. And he came back and told Rich that, yo, nigga stole that bread. I don't know if it happened, but this is what he told Rich. Rich didn't believe it, but...
$200,000 cash loss. Rich then went in his stash and took another $200,000 out to replace that, which is a total of $400,000 cash.
Rich was going through a lot of shit around that time. And this was around the time when the kidnapping that happened with his little brother. The police had pulled him over and he had like $80,000 in the car. They took the car and the money. Back then, you gotta understand, we was around the Dirty 30 precinct. These cops was crooked. If you look up the Dirty 30, these dudes was worse than stick-up kids. They were going around robbing niggas. And if they know you got money, they on you. All that was against us just as well.
In silhouette, on videotape, anonymous, known only as Officer Otto.
I know police officers stealing money from drug dealers, police officers stealing drugs from drug dealers.
Another $80,000 gone. Rich Porter was trying to get his brother back, and in less than 2 weeks, $480,000 cash was gone, plus a brand new car worth at least $50,000. With over $480,000 gone, Rich knew $250,000 in all cash was nearby. Whether it was already there or in the car, $250,000 was with him at that second. Rich was handling millions of dollars, and his stash consisted of work.
One thing about Rich, he kept work. So to him, as long as he had work, he had money. Right. You know what I mean? As long as he had bricks, he had money. But he had a nice stash, though. He had a nice stash. But he kept the work, though, so he felt that kind of like evened it out. Like,
right, as long as he had work, he had money.
He had money, and I guess he had nice jewelry, he had nice cars and all that.
Rich was doing consignment. He would do consignment with people, and they would owe him money. So when it was time for him to make a move, he would have to chase people for his money. So it always held him up a certain kind of how. So if somebody owes you, let's use a round number, $200,000, and you in turn go give them another 10 keys at $200,000. You're never really just seeing your money to actually do something with it. So he was saying there's times when his connect might have not been on, and he's chasing them for his money.
The next call changed everything. The kidnappers told the family to go to the bathroom at the McDonald's on 125th Street and Broadway. Something will be there for you. One of Rich's friends went to the McDonald's and came back with a can, and inside was a cassette tape. 2 gold rings that belonged to Darnell with his finger cut off.
Because this happened so fast, I mean, from one day to the next day. So there was discussions of, well, how do you even pay a ransom to somebody who just did what they did? How do you trust whomever? So there was a lot of logistics that you had to make heads or tails out of. I don't think it was so much as it was about the money as it was how do you do this? Like, it wasn't just a conversation with him speaking to his little brother.
That's some crazy shit to even think about. Knowing the money ain't a problem, but y'all just pull something foul like that, bro. That's crazy.
They had already cut his little brother's finger off.
From the first phone call to this call, it all happened in less than 48 hours. Still trying to handle the situation himself, Rich and his friends were in the hallway of his mother's building discussing what was just found and how he believed it was someone close to the family because Darnell wouldn't go with just anybody. Pat, hearing the commotion in the hallway, went outside to try to hear what was being said. When she overheard and saw what was in the can, she grabbed the contents and ran to the police station.
His sister was even younger than him, which is Pat. She sort of just lost it, you know, and ran out the house, and the law had got involved after that.
The sad part is the police did not initially take Pat serious, but once they did, they told her to not answer the phone anymore and wait for the FBI. Days went by without the family being able to answer the phone. By the time the FBI set up their phone tapping equipment, the calls stopped. Rich and Pat Porter's Uncle Johnny, also known as Apple, who was on the scene the entire time, passed them a note he claimed the kidnappers left. The note read, "Darnell is still alive but needs medical attention." The ransom was now lowered to $250,000. Also on the note was instructions to go to a payphone and wait for the phone to ring. Rich and his sister, Pat Porter, went to the location, but the phone never rung. The days that they were not allowed to answer the phone may have been crucial to getting their little brother back. Within 2 weeks, Rich Porter's suspicion that it was someone that Darnell knew would finally be confirmed.
But it definitely came back to him that the uncle had something to do with it. I don't know if you remember the cat who say to Rob.
Yeah, I remember him.
Running with Kevin and them. Yeah, he got at us, and I remember where it was at. It was on 156th Street, up by the cab stand. He said, "Yo, check this out, man. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Preacher, the uncle, he got something to do with your little brother."
With this new information, Rich was now moving in a different way. The money was never the issue because it was there. Rich only gave the number of $250,000 because it was what he could grab within minutes and not have this ordeal play out another second. The loss of close to $480,000, plus AZ telling Rich he had $500,000 cash just laying around, and Alpo, whether true or not, said he gave Rich $100,000 cash.
When they kidnapped the little boy, how I was in Florida at the time, and when I came back in town, and they was talking about this $500,000, how I gave Rich $100,000.
Fritz gave Rich as a gift 30 keys and at least 6 figures cash, and told him to get your brother back and get out the game.
He gave Rich that and cash, because he said, listen, the feds is on you, so you can't.
Fritz was a real wolf down there in New York too, man.
Work. You can't be out here hustling. So I'm gonna give you this to get him back, and I'm gonna give you cash to live. He was a good dude. Yo, Fritz was a good dude.
So the money was never the issue. But now it didn't matter. The information that Rich received put him on a different path. Now, knowing Preacher and his Uncle Apple was behind such a heinous act, Rich was ready for war. Rich Porter switched up his car and started riding in something discreet with dark tinted windows. He also started wearing a bulletproof vest strapped with two 9mm. The once smooth 24-year-old was more dangerous than ever, showing no emotions, but still able to smile and crack a joke under the wild circumstances.
You have to understand, like, again, and we talking, I'm 22, and he's maybe 21, 22 at the time. So, you know, present day, people reflect on what they would do, how they would do it. Next time you in a room with a 22-year-old, have a conversation with them, then try to in turn imagine negotiating the return of an individual that's been abducted and kidnapped.
Rich Porter was dealing with as much as he could while strategizing war plans. He knew his crew from Harlem and the Bronx couldn't lay in search for Preacher and his crew because Preacher would recognize familiar faces. So he enlisted a guy he was supplying work with named Black Just, who was part of the Supreme Team in Queens.
I met Rich Porter, through Black Just, and he kind of let us know what was up, and he needed some help. It was me, Black Just, Rich Porter, and myself, and we sat out there in the car, and he played the tape. He had a copy of the tape, and you hear the little boy crying. I'll never forget it. He was crying. He was crazy. So I said, is any police involved? He said, yeah. I said, damn. I said, if we're going to send somebody up there with you, but it's going to be hard because once the police is there, they'll bring heat to us. But we sent somebody up there to just see if we can help out a little, but there's too many police around. We couldn't be nothing.
From early on in the ordeal, Rich knew two things. One,
I ain't even catch his name, but if y'all watch it, whoever he is, he a real one too. I ain't never even seen him in the video. This is my first time.
whoever did this, Darnell knew them. And two, the chances of Darnell returning was doubtful. Rich never got the chance to revenge those responsible for kidnapping his little brother.
132 Harlem, torture for crack, 12-year-old kid kidnapped. What's going on, Black?
I don't know for sure, but Rich ain't go out like that.
Yeah, because he was too clever. He kept the 9 vest underneath the lever. It had to be someone he know. Yo, hey, you don't know for sure. It could have been Larry, Curly, and Mo. Forget that. It had to be someone he trusts.
On January 3rd, 1990, in a move that is still confusing to this day, Alpo Martinez killed Rich Porter.
Why you gotta kill him? You're not even looking at life no more, bruh.
Alpo Martinez was his homeboy, man, for the younger generation. It's really for the younger generation, man. They still grow. Though, you feel me?
The game's turning you into a cold-blooded monster, man.
He read the paper. He had me fooled. He reading it and dropped his head like he upset, you know? And I'm like, just watching like, damn, they killed Richard. I can't believe this.
He went through the whole 9 yards, you know, like he ain't know nothing about it and all.
There was times where I saw him after that happened to my brother and he couldn't even look at me. Now I know it probably was just his guilt, but at that time, my mother said from day one through the door, Alpo killed my son.
How could you kill something you love, man? That's real confusing to me, man. How could you kill something that love you? But on some real shit, man, you shouldn't have did that to Rich, man. Shouldn't have did it, man. I don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah, Rich was truly something else, man. Like, he was special, man. You know, he liked to brag, but not brag to put you down. Brag to, like, uplift you and, you know, really let you know, like, if I did it, you could do it too, like, type of bragging. But he was a special guy.
They chose that life. They knew what they was taking in on that life. Darnell didn't sign up for that. Do whatever game, however it goes, he was never supposed to be touched. I heard one person like Noriega and Capone, I'll never forget hearing them in a song or something mention Darnell. Nobody talks about him. I believe the investigation was messed up from the very beginning. But like I said, Richard and everybody else was dealt a hand. They played it. Donnell was a child.
Yeah, dedicated to Rich Porter, little brother, who died in the struggle and never got recognized for it.
We'll say rest in peace to Donnell on that note.